Good morning, President-elects and my retreat friends. Thank you, MC Iswaran, for introducing us. So we will start with incoming Assistant Governor Stuart Peck, followed by incoming Assistant Governor Dato Nelson.
Thank you, Dr. Raj. And a very good morning to all of you incoming presidents and my fellow Rotarians who are watching in today as well. I'm just going to give an introduction to this very important subject, but as I was driving in this morning, I was looking at the beautiful blue sky. It was a lovely, crisp morning, and that's how I saw the world, as something very positive. But I'm wondering how many other people are able to do such a thing and have such a positive attitude to what's going on around them. And I think the subject that we're looking at that's being embarked upon by the district is so important that we should really pay a lot of attention to it. And I hope in the next few minutes we should give you some insight into what can be done and what Rotary will be doing. The Rotary District Initiative is a great initiative, but as you're coming in as presidents to your clubs, you will have a huge role to play. And if you really want to support mental health, which we hope you will, then you'll play a big part of this whole mechanism within Rotary to look at where mental health is going and to help people out in the community. So, first of all, how much do you really know about mental health? And I think there's no doubt that if we look at what's happening in the world today, we're looking at Malaysia, there's no doubt that when you pick up a newspaper, there's going to be something you'll read about mental health. Whether it's Meghan and Harry in America, one is supposedly suicidal because of family pressure, the other because he lost his mother. We go to the other side of the world. In Korea, we have pop singers who are committing suicide. We even hear of soldiers coming back from the battlefield, even in present day, with post-traumatic stress syndrome. Everywhere you look, there are issues. The problem with mental health, though, is that we tend to think it's somebody else's problem. We don't look at it ourselves, it's somebody else's problem. And it is a taboo. And of course, if we got someone in the family who may be suffering from mental health, it's something that may not be talked about. So what kind of mental health sicknesses are people suffering from? Well, most people will know about talking of depression, anxiety, stress, and bullying. And of course, bullying is taken on a whole new scene now with online bullying as well. It's just not physical bullying. Let me just for a moment relate to you a few other mental illnesses, and then you'll see really how extensive this whole area is. These are all mental illnesses, and I'm sure each of you can equate with one of them of someone you know or you heard of who's suffering from them. Anxiety disorders, behavioral and emotional disorders, bipolar disorder, depression, dissociation disorders, eating disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder, paranoia, post-traumatic stress disorder, psychosis, schizophrenia, autism spectrum disorder, phobias, substance use disorder, and personality disorder. You know, the list is huge. And I think for presidents coming in, there's at least one area that you could be looking at. You could contribute as a project for mental health, which would then be part of this total network within the Rotary District to help with mental health. Suicide, of course, is something that we do also read about. And we have adults, teens, and children all suffering from this awful end result, whether it's an attempted suicide or it is an actual successful suicide. I think one of the problems we live with here in Malaysia is that suicide is still deemed to be a criminal event. And so this adds even more of a spectrum of secrecy that people don't talk about until it's happened and then you read about it in the newspaper. Just as a matter of interest for you, whether it's an interest, but these are facts. If you look at the mode of suicide in Malaysia, for example, we have the top 4 modes of suicide. Number 1 is hanging. Most of the suicides in Malaysia are indeed from hanging. The second is actually from taking poisons, either ingesting poisons, weed killer. The third area is jumping from buildings, and of course now as there are more buildings cropping up in Malaysia, this is something that may well also grow. And the last is car exhaust fumes, people who lock themselves inside their cars and then put a hose pipe into the window and then just wait for the end to come. These are the sad facts of life and unfortunately death, but unfortunately not enough people are talking about it or doing much about it. So what are the statistics? What are we seeing happening here in Malaysia? And what are we seeing in whether they're going up, going down, or staying flat? Well, if you look at the adolescent group of 13 to 17-year-olds, depression is 1 in 5, anxiety 2 in 5, stress 1 in 10, bullying 1 in 6. And as I mentioned just now, bullying has now extended to online bullying as well as physical bullying in school. The suicidal tendencies are also on the rise from 96 to 2006, and with the numbers you can see there are increasing on those periods of time. Attempted suicides, can you believe it? 100 to 200 per day. And suicides actually 5 to 10 per day. Can you imagine that at the end of today, 5 people or up to 10 people will have taken their lives because of a mental illness? 6.6 per 100,000 or 10 to 13 per 100,000 is the figure. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for young people in Malaysia today, between 15 and 29 years of age, and many are unsure where to get professional help. And so, unfortunately, the statistics speak for themselves. The numbers are on the increase, and we really don't know at the moment what COVID-19 is doing as well, either with locked-in, people who are in the house, children not with their friends at school. But whatever it is, we know that COVID-19 is having an effect and is having an effect on those numbers of mental health. So with that, I now pass over to Dato Sri Nelson.
Thank you, PP Stewart. I think I'd like to share with you this morning my feeling also. We're on the way from my home. Sunday morning, and you get traffic is so less, so smooth, and then there's no stress on us, on me also. And this is the situation that stress is also causing some of the these increases in the mental health issue in Malaysia. And thank you, PP, for the highlighting all the causes of this mental health, and also the statistic, which is very alarming now. It's going up, more so during this pandemic period, pre and post. And now we are entering the second phase, that phase of the MCO now. And it's also isolation. Isolation is also one of the causes of making a lot of people, citizens, becoming more stressed, and at the end may result in the mental health issue. You can hear and you can read on the paper every day. There are cases of depression, suicide, as mentioned by PP, all happening. Why? Because of the stress. I think stress causes a lot of anxiety and makes a lot of leads into the mental disorder. And we know that we are not here to study the numbers, but we want to find some solution to it. That's how the Rotary Club of District 3300 can come in to play a role. And we have a committee set up already. And let's say we have some good project for the incoming president to carry out during their term of office. No idea? No worry. The District Committee on Mental Health has some very good practical solution and project for you to carry out. And let's hear ourselves. And we have the chairman of the mental health, doctor in his profession, to share with us on the projects and the ideas of mental health. He will have some big ideas. Okay, I'd like to at this juncture to pass back the mic to our chairman to continue.
Thank you very much, Stuart and Dato Sri Nelson. Now, dear President-elects, I think you've heard the magnitude of the problem that exists as a result of the mental illness. You know that something needs to be done. And the best part is something can be done. And something can be done by Rotary. The idea is to create a pool of mental health first aiders. Now, first aiders is not a new term. You know about Red Cross International. They were formed about 150 years ago, and they've made a significant impact in the world. First aid is useful because you don't need the specialist at the first point of contact. So what are the three roles of the mental health first aiders? They will play a significant role in mental health in our project by the District Action Group for Mental Health Initiative. First of all, they will be armed with the knowledge to find out the telltale signs, to identify the people who need help. They will guide, they will support them, and when necessary, they will refer them to the specialist. The big picture. Now, this is really a big picture. We are faced with a huge wave of mental illness, more so after the COVID pandemic. According to the professionals in the world, the psychiatrists and the specialists, they say this shadow pandemic will last for a much longer time. It will outlast the COVID pandemic. And as you saw the earlier figures by Stuart, you could see violence. This is manifesting as violence at home. This has been reported in many countries. The UK, the US, Australia, Singapore. Just because it's not reported in Malaysia, it does not mean it exists here. Doctors will watch for the fact that there are an increased cases of violence at home. Now, what is the big picture? Rotary District 3300, through the District Action Group for Mental Health Initiatives, we are embarking on a big mission to reduce the incidence of mental health problems, improving mental health in the population, and reducing the number of suicides. So this takes a lot of effort, and it involves a lot of people. Rotary alone cannot manage this, and we are in touch with the professionals in this country who are non-Rotarians as well. So it has to be a multi-point effort affecting all levels and in all parts of the country. So we are working at the level of the school, the colleges, the universities, at workplaces. We are also working on the frontliners, the doctors, the nurses, the policemen, the firemen. All these people will be guided. They will be given some form of training to handle people who are with mental issues, to identify the telltale signs. That's the important thing. If we miss the telltale signs on those who need help, they progress on to the next step. And they may end up in suicides. So that's the importance. We are going all out. And we are also reaching out to the public through social media, mass medias. And on this note, I would like to stress this. District Action Group has started the third Thursday talks. It's on the third week of every month for 1.5 hours from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. We always advertise this in the Google group. Please pass the message around. And you will be listening to specialists who talk about various aspects of mental health. This is so very important. Please pass the word around. We are going to continue this. This will be part of our project. So the other important thing I would like to share with you, as far as the big picture is concerned, is that we are in the process of creating a platform or a web page which has all the resource of mental health. Will also contain the hotline for help. We will be getting this done. We are on the way. So, how does it work? Rotarians as well as Rotractors can apply to be mental health first aider. We are selecting the program that is most useful for this particular group and in consultation with the professionals. So what happens is we will be giving training to all these potential mental health first aiders, and on successful completion, we will give you a special badge that you can wear with pride and help the district achieve its aims. This is a project of District 3300. The club first aiders will liaise with the schools and the interactors. What we hope to achieve is to have at least a 2-hour session per month, 2 hours per month with the school teachers and the students. We teach them about mental health awareness, mental health literacy, so everyone is able to identify the telltale signs of impending danger. In addition, we would request the mental health first aider to conduct a survey during his monthly visit. And as per the survey findings, if there are anybody who needs help, they are in the alarming zone, they will be referred for further care. And we would appreciate if the club concerned would send us a report, just to keep in touch on how we are doing. So that red figure on the screen, as you can see, dear presidents, is yourself. You play a pivotal role. You are the most important person in your year. You're almost at, you are the, it's kind of an arrow, but you're at the apex of a pyramid. So dear presidents, I would like you to think about what I've suggested. Suicides occur, and whenever suicide occurs, there's an alarming amount of distress, sadness, and grief among the families involved, friends and families. They'll always ask the question, why did I go wrong? What was the matter? And I have a question for you. Could we have intervened in some way and have prevented this untimely death? Could we have intervened? The word is intervene. So dear presidents, here's a golden opportunity to intervene, and it doesn't take much effort. Your activity involves 2 hours per month, every month. And we are here to provide all the support that you need, the resources. You can save a life. I believe so. I believe we can save a life. But we need to know the telltale signs. We need to be able to assist, guide, and help the person who has these telltale signs. And if we can't solve the problem, we refer them. Now, if you recall what happens in the first aiders, the Red Cross, someone comes with a bleed, you clamp them down, hold the hand down. And sometimes you get away with just that. Sometimes you got to pass the person along the chain of command to the nurse, to the medical officer, or the specialist. So we do not need the specialist to be there for every first contact patient. Now, this slide is we're putting not to indicate the statistics as much as to know why. Why aren't people going for help? Number one, there is a lot of ignorance. People are not aware of the fact that there are mental health problems. They just say it's normal, he's a quiet guy, he bursts out in anger, unusual anger, So things like this. So we do not associate that with a mental health problem. Number two, stigma and discrimination. In all, the prevalence of stigma is very high among the Asian countries, and Malaysia is no exception. There's a lot of stigma associated. Oh, this guy is going to follow up with this psychiatrist. Something's wrong. We better stay away. Now, this is the other thing that we need to remove, the stigma. And finally, there just aren't enough psychiatrists in Malaysia. The world ratios, the recommended ratio is 1 psychiatrist for 10,000 people. Now, if you look at the whole of Malaysia, we are having 1 psychiatrist for 100,000 population. A gross disparity. Even then, the majority of psychiatrists are concentrated in cities and towns. So you have a worse ratio in the districts, in the far end areas, maybe in the East Malaysia and North and Eastern states, of 1 psychiatrist for 200,000 people. Now that is the problem. So that's where we come in. Rotarians can play a role. We are more than 2,000 members right now, and we are going to hit 2,500 in the next year or sooner. We have an army of people who can help. We are present in almost every town in this country, and we have Rotractors with us and Interactors with us. So we can certainly do something very, very significant. Well, you know the statistics. This has been mentioned by Stuart. So this is an appeal to all of you. Okay, I don't think I don't look like the guy on the screen, but this is an appeal, a humble appeal, a thought process. Would you consider this? Do you want to do this? Now, this is a service in one of the 7 areas of focus. Okay, the treatment of diseases and preventing disease and treatment. Okay, So now, RI President, incoming RI President's theme is so relevant to our project. Now, the timeline of this project, we hope to start this in July and to go through the entire year. And who knows, if this sticks with us, we can even carry on beyond that. So, my dear presidents, president-elects, please consider this. Please join us for the third Thursday talk that is coming on this Thursday, 18th. I'll be posting this in the Google group. And think of what you could do. A simple act of organizing a mental health first aider in your club can make a significant difference. We hope to reduce in the next National Health and Mobility Survey, which probably will be ready next year. We hope to see a difference, a reduction in the number of suicides and attempted suicides. We want to show a reduction of all causes of mental illness. So here I rest my case, dear President-elects, and I'm happy to take questions. We are happy to take any questions that you may have. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Stuart. Dato Sri Nelson.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.